Welcome to Kingdom Things. Welcome to Kingdom Things. I am your host, Ashley Nicole Phillips, spiritual practitioner, spiritual creator, creative, by the way of God, Goddess, Source, Essential Son, the Most High, whatever you like to call the energy, the power, the force behind what is, that is who appointed me in my position of being a spiritual healer, spiritual practitioner, spiritual creative. Now, what I really want Kingdom Things to be, what I really want this podcast to be, what I really want this outlet to be is a space for us to gather. When I say us, I mean humanity. A space for humanity to gather, to share our thoughts, share our energies on this journey we call life, on this journey we call expansion, on this journey of planetary ascension. I want Kingdom Things to be a space where we can come to every week and not only pick up some energy that, is healing for the soul, but to also share our individual journeys, share our perspectives on life, On this installment of Kingdom Things, I sit down with Mahatma Calvin Sananda. And we speak on the planetary ascension, the ascension of humanity. I hope you guys enjoy. I hope there are takeaways that you're able to apply to your life. I know there are gems in here. I'm ruminating on this interview myself. I'm ruminating on this sit down myself. I am ruminating on this meetup myself. I hope you enjoy. Calvin Sananda. Mahatma Calvin Sananda.
Wow.
Yes. I was like, I'm going to get your name right. When we last spoke, you said Calvin Sananda because I feel like you were holding yourself back a little bit. You left out the Mahatma. Like, own it. Own it. It's okay.
Right.
I appreciate the energy. I'm not going to, think. I appreciate you being your honest self. Being your full self.
Thank you for welcoming my full self then.
Yes. For sure. So, me, host of Kingdom Things, Ashley Nicole Phillips, and you are?
I am Mahatma Calvin Sananda, and I am the host of the podcast Ask No.
Cool. Now, we did a little pre-production, and we wanted to talk about ascension, humanity's ascension. Humanity. Did you want to go first on kind of what you were picking up with the energies of the humanity's ascension?
Man, let's synchronize real quick with a little bit of breathing. All we need is a minute.
Okay, cool. How you feeling?
Grounded.
Cool. I did some breathing before you came on, so I'm glad we got to sync up right there. Humanity's ascension.
So, humanity's ascension is today's.
Yeah.
It's no coincidence.
Yeah, and I think my me being intrigued in the self-activation, self-cultivation, self-healing is because it's something that we all have in common. We're all doing it, but we don't talk to each other about it. So we feel like it's a lonesome road. We feel like we're alone in the world, but we're all really doing it on some level or another every day of our lives. So I feel like if we create a space where we're able to come together and speak about the things that we're going through, it'll help with the bringing humanity together as one. Bring humanity together as one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had some ideas. You said you've been picking up some some downloads that pertain to this topic. And I said that I would listen and hear what pieces you have gathered or what you mind sharing. And then if I could in anywhere, fill in the gaps,
even if not even filling in the gaps, even just like what you're perceiving with the energies. You don't even have to fill in the gaps, just what you're perceiving, you know, how you see it.
Yeah.
Just so we can kind of.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine.
Alchemy. You remember you did a beautiful analogy of the bee and alchemy. Beautiful metaphor, beautiful story that you told the last time we sat.
Yes.
And that discussion had me going into the importance of alchemization. And I was speaking to God, and God was like, "You're an alchemist." And God's been giving me that information for a long time, giving me that vision, giving me that knowing about myself. I am an alchemist. Yes. I didn't understand as to I didn't understand how important and how pertinent my role of being an alchemist and other people's role of being an alchemist is.
Yeah.
The way God showed me, the way Source broke it down to you, the way the picture, us being alchemists, first of all, showed me that all of the energies, emotions, and thoughts that we carry, they're of a collective, humanity's collective energies, emotions, and thoughts. That we all share these energies, emotions, and thoughts.
Yes, yes.
The energies, emotions, and thoughts that we carry, we've been carrying around for eons, for generations, for lifetimes, that have been keeping us stagnant because they're three-dimensional energies, emotions, and thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening right now is we're being like energies are ushering in that help us realize where we've been stagnating ourselves. Energies are ushering in, helping us realize where we've been stagnating ourselves, so we can see the patterns, we can see the energies, we can see the behaviors that we've carried for lifetimes, for millennia, that have kept us stagnant, and we're able to take those energies, understand that that's the story humanity wrote in the past. That's the story humanity wrote in the past. When we take those energies and we love on ourselves in the moment and kind of like be with ourselves through those energies, we're able to, that's when we alchemize it. When we give ourselves higher vibrational energies, through those energies, we alchemize them. We're basically writing a new story for humanity. Once we alchemize those energies go into the cloud of humanity, and we're writing the new story. So that's why, you know, God's been like really on me about me staying present and me being in high vibrational energies and alchemizing the energies. Like these energies hit you, and they're some of them are heavy. Some of them tell stories that are tragic. Yeah. Some of them tell stories that are shameful. But God's like, laugh it off. That's what y'all wrote in the past. Laugh it off. That's y'all's past story. Laugh it off. Give yourself higher vibrational energies because you're now writing a story for humanity.
Well said.
Yeah. So that's what I'm feeling. And I stay in my own bubble. So I don't watch the news. I don't do none of that. So I stay in my own bubble. So I peeked outside of my bubble for a second, and I came back in. But with peeking out, looking at like the war in Ukraine, all of these things that the media are feeding humans, I can see why humans are frantic and fearful and all of these things. And they don't know that they're writing a story for humanity. They don't know that they're contributing to that three-dimensional stagnant energy. So people that are conscious to, you know, how their beingness, contributes to humanity and the earth and the universe, it's important. That's why I think it's good to make a space where we can sit down and talk about these things, so that we know that we're not alone, and so that we know that different ways, and so that we know that we are writing stories, and collaborate with it, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
if I may.
Yeah, go ahead. Take the floor. Take the podium.
Oh man, so beautifully said. Just in elaboration to what I wanted to say will simply be elaborating on exactly what you said.
Okay.
And coming together as we are now, expressing a collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Life is shaped by relationships. How we relate shapes our reality.
Mm-hmm.
So, in understanding ascension, it is developing the mastery of relationships entirely. You know, from a scientific standpoint, we can say chemistry.
Right. And I have something to put in on that that's also coming in, but go ahead. I have something to add, like to another topic to kind of piggyback off of that, but go ahead.
You are a realized alchemist now. It just so happens that I have a formula that I want to share, and that means it was for me to share with you so that you can share with someone else.
Okay,
so this formula, well, the question is, what is ascension?
Right.
Well, here's the formula right here. Self-discovery times self-cultivation equals self-mastery.
Right.
There is this point in which the self, which is one, divides itself into two. And these two activities work as awareness, in which we have to find ourselves and build our awareness, such as, and then there's that point in which we integrate this awareness through practice.
Right.
So process. We put an output, we receive an input. Humans are designed to do three things: receive, process, and express information. That's information is simply how we comprehend energy.
Okay, right.
Everything is coded with information.
Right.
You can look at this, you can look at that, and it will tell you something. So we relationships. The self is like a treasure chest. Self, I have some notes on that because I knew it was going to be jumping around. I would. To help me stay focused. I want to take a step away from the notes and just organically share this.
Mess with it.
So we're talking about chemistry. We're talking about things coming together. We're talking about things merging, fusing, separating to fuse in other ways. We are contacting all these different electromagnetic fields, right? If we're talking scientific, right?
Right.
But if we speak upon a very actualistic nature, everything is a mood.
Right.
When you smell this, you get this sense of a mood. Your disposition can tweak this way. When you smell that, now you feel hungry. Oh, okay, now you want to eat. All these different things that we contact flux and influence emotion. Everything is an emotion. And Ascension has everything to do with emotional mastery on one note. Ascension in another aspect is a rising of awareness and an expansion of awareness. The expansion takes place as a spiral upward. And so when we come in as a child, where, you know, oblivious of what life is, and then we go through a process which connects us to the future.
Children are more in tune with what life is really supposed to be about.
Well, there is that essence, but we're talking about actual consciousness.
Okay.
They are more in tune, but they aren't consciously aware of what it is that they're doing or what they're engaging with. That's the whole point. That's what separates an adult from a child is awareness, mature awareness. And that's what I mean by consciousness.
Gotcha.
So ascension is a rise in consciousness in which we grow and become more aware. There is a template in which we can grow more aware, absolutely, constructively, perfectly. That's what's been designed. However, we have attachments. That's what everyone knows them as. These attachments are hangups. These attachments are biases. These attachments are resistance or self-created or self-developed resistances within ourselves to other connectivity. And so when we say, oh, I don't want this, or yes, I really want this, this is our electromagnetic field saying electromagnetic attracting and repulsing. So ascension is also a matter of manifestation mastery, because everything is manifested upon your thoughts and emotions. Now, everything that is thought and emotion is manifested and governed by breath. So ascension is also a matter of breath mastery.
Right.
As things commune, now we get to talking about what yoga really is.
You cut out. Hold on, you cut out. You're cutting out. Hold on one second, you're cutting out. Let's see if it comes back. Connection comes back. 1 second. 1 second. Yeah, there you go. You're back. You're back.
Excellent. Splendid.
Yes, yoga. What yoga really is.
So the definition of yoga is communion or union. I'm sorry. And so where you see people doing stretches and whatnot, that's just an expression of yoga, which is actually a lifestyle in which the individual learns to commune or unite much more cohesively with everything that is him and his environment. So he has to learn through breathing how to connect with his body, how to connect with his mind, how to connect with his experiences. And to do this, the idea is you want to develop fluidity. But since we have attachments, that stops and halts and slows down the fluidity. And so this, on a very scientific level, is our atoms, the atoms that create matter, which are vibrating light really fast. When we have attachments, the atoms which are vibrating really fast start taking on like tar, and it slows them down and it bogs us down. And then these manifest as illnesses, sufferings, all the things that we don't like. And so everything that in our life that we don't like, we create upon resisting change, resisting fluidity, resisting the things that propel life in constant motion.
Right.
So all of this in one word is called growth. Ascension is growth mastery.
Right.
Learning how to grow through, allow yourself to grow through any and everything.
Right. Right. And we live in a world, there is a world out there that has been doctored to invert the natural flow of life. So I think the ascension is also letting go of that inverted reality that we thought was our truth, the inverted person that we thought we were, and flowing into, divine order is how God put it to me. Source put it to me, divine order. There's a divine order to everything. You have to allow things to flow. You have to flow through life. Speaking of flowing, and then we were talking about relationships and dynamics, feminine and masculine energy.
Yes.
The balance of feminine and masculine energy. We live in a society that is very masculine driven, very masculine driven. I have been guided to understand that in order for me to flow through life, in order for me to take on my divine essence and create through life and grow through life as God Most High intended, I have to embody my feminine energy. And it's not so much of learning how to be feminine, because we are feminine, but dropping those 3D realities, 3D programs that say that you have to be a doer, goer, getter, and not so much a receiver or flower as the feminine energy is. What is your view on feminine energy and how to maintain, get that balance masculine and feminine energy in our society within first. We have to go within first in order to create it without. But I got a big download that a big reason why we have so much disorder in our society and so much inorganicness, disease, is because of the imbalance of the feminine and the masculine energy. And over time, what we do is we go through a power struggle between feminine and masculine energy in our society. Right now, the pendulum's swinging and patriarchy has a podium. The matriarchy is going to get the podium again. But it's about us not mirroring that energy of oppression to each other once we get back to our, so the matriarchy had the upper hand before, and they were oppressing the patriarchy as the patriarchy is oppressing the matriarchy. So I was guided to understand that we have to come into a balance. Perfect. And I know part of my journey, my balance within, is everything that I've gone through on my spiritual awakening journey. Is there anything in particular that you've gone through on your journey to balance the feminine and masculine energy within?
So another thing I definitely wanted to talk about, because this is perfectly what Ascension is. Mm-hmm. As everything is multiples of this and multiples of that, all of these multiples still derive from an essential basics, as you just put it, the masculine and feminine energy, yin and yang, positive, negative, receptive, and dynamic energy. Right. And so, and balancing out these polarities. Mm-hmm. How did I come to understand this? As I termed, everything is emotion, everything is mood. There is a resistance to sensitivity, but human beings are naturally sensitive. They're entirely sensitive. Sentient beings. Yeah. Of the psychological warfare has entailed numbing us. Mm-hmm. Right. Numbing us, desensitizing us so that we are confused and made to distort our understanding of what our sensations are meant to convey to us, message-wise. Right. And so in this ascension and this, merging of the masculine and feminine energies within us, there is this man, woman, physical beings have to both tap into being intuitive and instinctive and reasonable, and have to have an imagination. Alchemy. All these things have to be very well stirred in the pot. And the whole thing about this whole life thing is that there is no future or present without, there is no future or past without the present. Right. And so as everything is happening right here, right now, dang, what was I about to say? What thoughts have you to share now? What you thinking? What are you sensing?
The alchemy period, for us to alchemize our energies, again, like you said, the 3D reality has inverted things and numbed us to our sensitivities. So how do you alchemize when you can't really sense or feel the energies? Exactly. So my heart chakra has been busting wide open. I thought I already had a heart chakra awakening. Mm-hmm. 2.0. I'm in heart chakra awakening 2.0. So I'm opening more in my heart space and feeling more, becoming more sensitive, becoming more into my truth, becoming more into my truth, shedding the 3D programmings. And this is why Source, God, Goddess has brought to my attention the different things that I have to work on alchemizing and balancing in my life, the different elements. Mm-hmm. And it's a science. It's a science. You have to know yourself. You have to know yourself. You have to know yourself to live in divine order, to live intentionally, to create intentionally, to be intentionally. You have to know yourself. And that was one of the things we had that on our last sitting, we talked about how we got the download. We both got the download that the stars, planets, what we see in the sky isn't all that is. It's only a small percentage of what actually is. The clarity that I received the download that I received was that you only can receive as much as you know about yourself is what you can receive of what's out there. Mm-hmm. as much as what you know about yourself is what you can perceive out there. So the reason why we can only see the planets and the stars, which was likened to a skeleton in a human body. So the stars and the planets are just a skeleton of what is. The reason why we can only see the skeleton is because we don't really know ourselves like that. So once we begin to evolve as a collective, as individuals and as a collective, get to really know ourselves, we'll be able to perceive more of what's out there. But the stars and the planets, that's a skeleton. That's a skeleton.
Yes.
So yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
That's right on point. It's helped me gather my idea.
Okay, cool.
So the cure or so, basically, because Ascension is healing. It's entirely a healing process. It's so simple, and I shared it with you last time, and I'm glad that we have an opportunity for me to share it in another way. I see it breaking up.
Yeah, let's give it a second. We're back, I think.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So, building this fluidity, health, healing. The simple answer that we all despise in this unforgiving world is forgiveness itself. It is the single key that unlocks everything. Now, see, it's still going in and out. So I'm gonna let it
give it a second. Give it a second. I think you're good. Okay.
So yeah, we don't know how to forgive each other because we don't know how to forgive ourselves. And again, as I expressed last time, we take forgiveness upon this. Okay, it has to only do with me accepting or enabling even this harm that you're bringing onto me, but that's not what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is a reception. It's a process of healing that begins with reception and ends with closure. As I expressed through the breathing diagram, when we breathe, when we inhale, we have to receive life. We have to take that. That's a gift. That's the first gift. It's that breath. It's the first and the last gift. So we take in that breath. But if we say, nah, I don't want that breath, that is disforgiveness right there. And that prevents it. That's exactly what halts all of the fluidity. But the moment we go and inhale, that begins fluidity. Now, what happens next? We can't hold the breath. We can't hold the breath too long. And so we have to appreciate what we get, but we still have to let that next breath go. We have to let this breath go in order to receive the next one. This creates the fluidity. So we have to receive, process, let go, receive, process, let go, receive, process, let go. But what we do is we receive and then we process, hold on. No, I don't want to let it go. Let me take on another idea, and then we don't want to let that go. And then we take on this idea, and now our hands are too full, our arms have too much in them for us to be able to carry anything else. And then the longer that we go holding on to these things through attachment, it slows us down, it slows our growth that much. And so a person does have to heal by saying, okay, you know what? I am more than these things within me. I appreciate what you brought into my life, but you are not my life. You are part of my life. So let me put you down and let you be free, because how can I be free if I don't let you be free? See, this is how forgiveness works. Okay, I let that go. Now, see, this whole thing is built upon freedom. Okay, what is freedom? That's a responsibility. You got to be you and your best self. I got to be me and my best self. I got to accept you being all of yourself the same way I should expect you to accept me being all of myself. And so this forgiveness thing is a perfectly open window for an individual to be perfectly who they're supposed to be without getting caught, without engaging within judgmentality. These judgmentalities, jaded views built upon our misunderstanding or our attachments.
Yeah. And getting to that place where you can flow and let go is getting to a place where you're shedding the 3D programming, those 3D energies. Because I believe we carry like the cloud. You're connected to the human collective. You're connected to old energies from the human collective. That energy of wanting to hold on to everything that you have. That's the issues. That's trust issues. That's all of the things that we have created for humanity. Those are all the things that we have created for humanity. So when you speak of balancing our inner, alchemizing our inner beingness so that we're able to flow through life, you're speaking about shedding energies that are age old, that are eons old. And people think that people, most people can't even see that something has a hold on them. Most people don't understand that they're not their thoughts. They're not the energies that pass through their body. They don't understand that they are operating off of some energies outside of themselves. They don't understand it. They think that that's who they are. So I have so much empathy and sympathy because I'm being awakened to energies that I didn't even know I had inside of me. I'm carrying around energies that have been controlling me that I didn't even know I had inside of me. This time in June, we have energies coming in, like I said, to assist us with awakening to these patterns, to shed them. And there's stuff that's coming up, and I'm like, I didn't even know. How do you know that you're not? How do you awaken to those patterns that no longer serve you? Do you still awaken to those patterns that no longer serve you? I'm sure you do, because you're human. Like, you got the collective energies like you do. How do you awaken to those energies? Do you awaken to those energies? What are your methods to kind of shed those energies?
We have intelligent ways that we lie to ourselves.
One thing, let me put it in one piece. I got the download that said every time we open our mouths, humans, we're manipulating or deceiving, because we're always trying to convince things outside of ourselves to be like us, convince people. And then I got another connection that the reason why we're deceptive and manipulative, because we don't know ourselves. We don't know those energies that are controlling us. I just want to put that in there. Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
That's perfect.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Self-deception is it's the beginning of all of our downfalls. We deceive ourselves through ulterior motive, and these ulterior motives come across as fears. And we discussed this in our last talk as well. And so what humans do naturally is we see fear, and then we tell ourselves a lie to try to ignore or to cover up or to not face whatever the fear is. And so what you see in a lot of cases, especially as we talk about relationships, people think that the truth is going to hurt so much that they're not going to be able to make it back from it. So let me go ahead and work off this lie, which creates the fear that they had, initially tried to avoid. And so truth, being honest, integrity, all of these things work so deeply within us, no one else can tell. And so Ascension is developing a fine-tuned precision in look and being able to dive deeper and deeper and deeper. And where you see things as this, your perception narrows into microscopic vision, and then it narrows even more, and then it narrows even more where you can see, the particle nature of yourself. And then once you see yourself working in these different particle aspects, you start observing, you start observing how everything is connected naturally. And so you can't lie to yourself, or you can only lie to yourself for so long. Eventually, you pull a thread of information and you get this wall, and it's like, okay, you're going to face yourself now. And then you go, no, I'm going to go ahead and lie to myself. And the universe goes, okay, this was kind of the idea of the game. So go ahead and keep pulling the string and then you pull it again and you reach another point, and it's like, okay, you're going to lie to yourself again. Okay, well, the more that you lie to yourself, you create these gates that block you off. And so the only way to go through the gate is to be honest with yourself in the deepest way that you can develop. And it's constantly. But see, this is where forgiveness still comes in, because it's not about us becoming or being overly critical upon ourselves. It's about monitoring to see what can improve, when it can improve in that moment. Otherwise, learning how to surrender and let everything else do what it needs to do for you to do what you need to do in turn. Again, creating that fluidity between you and your environment and your external environment. Your environment is just a reflection of your environment. That's, life really works off of this irony. And so I like to say Ascension is also understanding or building the most finest understanding of your ironic communion with God. When you build a relationship with an individual, you get such up on cool terms, or y'all integrate each other so well that you create like a lingo that only you two know. And so it's creating that lingo with universe through your intuition. And so this is where becoming more sensitive has to come in mind, because we think so logically, we think so reasonably. We go, no, how could this be? How can this be? No. And then this halts all of our fluidity. But then we get an instance to go, no, go left instead of going right. And then we actually go, you know what? What have I got to lose? Let me go left today. And then you run into an old friend that you went to school with, and now y'all on the same move. Okay, you've been looking for a job. You've been looking for an employee. Oh, you see now, things happen.
Right.
Otherwise, every day we're getting all these impulses to get to unlock incredible possibilities. But then we see, we look for a reason out of our fears. We go, no, that's not part of the structure. No, that's not part of the plan. No, that wasn't part of this and that. Well, that mustn't be the way. And then we really push ourselves into a box. And so Ascension is about being able to not just come out this box, but unraveling this box thread by thread by thread by thread, so that when you're outside of the box, you can rebuild the box yourself. And then you find yourself in another matrix, and then you're working yourself through that one the same way. And with each one that you transcend, you just get better and better and better. And this is what I mean by your mind, your consciousness grows more refined in awareness. It expands, but it's a practice of expansion and contraction. And so your mind is constantly growing and ebbing, whereas a person that grows, or that grows very slowly, they're having a much slower action. And so Ascension is about creating a fluidity and increasing the rapidity of your atomic movement. The more faster you get consciously, the more faster you get, the more fast your atoms of your anatomy increase. And then your body itself grows more intelligent, and you pick up more senses. Okay, you can feel things a little bit differently. Now you can hear things a little bit more sharper. People don't know. I used to wear glasses, my teeth used to be crooked, and I used to have asthma and so many other things. But as I allow myself to, okay, let me just be forgiving, as these new concepts are constantly engaging me. Okay, you know what? This is uncomfortable, but you know what? I think I can learn through this. Why not? And so you learn how to keep receiving, processing, and letting go. And of course, there's always going to be hangups. That's the part of it. But you forgiving yourself to get through the hangover, to get through the hangup, to get through or let go. Right?
Right.
Forgiveness dismantles attachment.
Right.
Forgiveness opens the door for fluid and instant manifestation.
Right. And that's a big thing that I've been guided to do. That's something that I apply whenever I see these energies coming up that need to be released or alchemized. I just start loving myself. Like I stay in the moment with myself and love on myself. We are taught to abandon our emotions and our feelings. So redirecting your energy and your attention to yourself when those energies come up, to assist with alchemizing those energies and moving through those energies. We have a few minutes left here. I know there are a lot of people awakening at this time in humanity. A lot of people are waking up at this time. what's something that you wish you would have known, or someone would have told you, or some advice that you could have used as you begin your conscious journey of awakening?
To be honest, everything that I just told you in this, otherwise, to look out for an understanding of the relationship between the brain and the heart and the breath. Okay. These three have such an organic relationship that translates into all of life, but we neglect breath, and so we neglect thought, and so we neglect the emotional intelligence, and now we feel discombobulated or disoriented about life structure and things. Life is always just, this chaotic encumbrance when it's really a well-organized orchestra.
Right.
Look for how life is an orchestra, and when it seems like it's not an orchestra, that contradiction is actually an opportunity to view as a contrast. That's why I use questions. Questions present an opportunity to remove that seal and to take a view between contrasting or differing ideas and see just how they relate and how they actually balance one another. And so if anyone is looking for the answers or questions are the answer.
Questions are the answers. And I can, one thing I would say is not to be afraid to step out of your normal routine, not to be afraid to go do those things that you're being nudged to do, but you would have never done before. Don't be afraid to think the thoughts that are coming in that you would have never thought of doing or thinking before, because that's your intuition coming in, trying to guide you to a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to say that I also felt the dynamic between the masculine and feminine energy in this interaction, because the way you break things down is very logical, very, very methodical. And the way I see things and the way I kind of explain it, it's more flowy, like love yourself. So it's like more energy, like more a flow, intuitive perception of. So don't be afraid to interact with different people. Don't be afraid to do things out of your regular scheduled routine, is what I would say.
That sounds like what everyone needs to, it was a lot shared within this conversation. And so it can be chewed up and ruminated on for a while.
Right. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to do just that. That's why I love talking to you, because I know I'm going to sit down and really, the energy, the words, yes, but there's energy behind the words. So you can hear it, you can listen, you can methodically come through it, but you can also just feel the energy and take away all of that. So I want to
Don't be afraid to unpack them folders. Don't be afraid to unpack them folders. Those folders are always nudging through the intuition to be like, hey, come on, I got a surprise waiting for you that's talking about me.
Right. Seriously, I want to thank you so much, Mahatma Calvin Sananda, for joining me today on this edition of Kingdom Things Meets Ask No. I feel like we should do this like monthly or something. I feel like we should do this monthly or every once in a while, whenever it comes up, because it's always good conversation, always good energy. Always.
I was thinking the same thing, and your channeling ability is, I'm impressed. You could definitely sense out what's being put out, and so I don't have to say a whole lot. I'm really just elaborating if I do say much.
Right, and I love that. I love it. Like I said, I feel the energy flowing, and I sense and I know that we have spirits on both ends, kind of communicating to get the right messages out that people need to hear, that we need to hear. So
splendid.
Yeah. Yes.
And Ashley, I will speak to you soon.
Yes.
Light, love, and life to you, yours. We will speak.
Likewise. I'll see you later. You have a good night. Peace.